I love this beautiful bald mother. What's up, gamers? Today I'm showing my appreciation for none other than Stanley Tucci. I've never met a Stanley Tucci role that I didn't like. He adds a certain je ne sais pas to every film he's in, and much like Hot Sauce or Money, he just makes everything better. Here's a roundup of some of his best roles and what made them so good. Also, I made a small Stanley, a tiny Tucci, if you will. I can't remember why I did this or what the gag that I had in mind was, so I hope you like it because he's here to stay. Anyway, let's get into it, starting with his role in The Hunger Games. So in Julie and Julia, Stanley plays Julia Child's husband. If you haven't seen this, please watch it. It's about the OG celebrity chef Julia Child, and the titular character is played by Meryl Streep. A fun fact about this movie is that Meryl Streep reached out to Stanley Tucci personally to ask him to play this role. This is insane. This is like if Obama reached out to you and asked you to be Michelle. Basically, Meryl Streep asked Stanley Tucci to be her husband, and what a husband he was. He's a super enthusiastic, supportive king in this movie who encourages his wife at every step of the way, learning to cook, getting her book published, starting a TV show. He's basically just like, go for it, you're awesome and cool. Apparently, Tucci actually had a successful marriage in real life just to prepare for this role and make sure that he could convincingly play the supportive husband role. His golden retriever-esque attitude could push him into himbo territory, but I think that also depends on how much you're attracted to him, which in my case is very, so I think he's definitely towing the line of himbosity on this one. Tucci absolutely nailed this role. But to be fair, he basically just had to show up and be a loving, supportive husband to Meryl Streep, which I don't think is that difficult because she just has that effect on people. Anyway, for real this time, let's talk about Tucci in The Hunger Games. So in The Devil Wears Prada, which is the prequel to Julie and Julia in the Stanley Tucci cinematic universe, my boy plays catty fashion man Nigel. He drops some really good lines right off the get-go in this movie. For example, gird your loins, a warning issued upon the boss's arrival to the office. He says it with such conviction that I really do feel like my loins could use girding. After all, who am I to question the authority of Tucci? He's so perfectly snooty in this role. He carries himself with perfect posture, and every time I watch this movie, I'm for once grateful that I'm not Anne Hathaway, because I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of the judgment coming through his bespectacled bald head. This is an example of a generally good film that I think did splendidly with an injection of Tucci, but I think it would have been fine without him as well. Like, someone could have feasibly played this role, but I'm glad that they didn't, because he knocked it out of the ballpark and he basically set the gold standard for the bald fashion guy archetype. Swag that would later be stolen by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, Hunger Games. In Transformers, Stanley Tucci plays the exact same character that he played in Devil Wears Prada. I'm pretty sure they called him up and they were like, do you still have the glasses from Prada? You do? Awesome. What are you doing this weekend? Do you want to hang out? We could like make a movie and like, I don't know, play games or something. Yeah, like ride bikes or something after? I don't know. He plays like a corrupt tech CEO who has a redemption arc and helps save the world. This movie was so bad, and had it not been for the inclusion of this role, I think that it would have been completely unwatchable. This is an example of a movie that not only benefited from Tucci, but literally needed him. He can be threatening, he can be funny, he can be remorseful. Literally everything he did in this movie was convincing, unlike Mark Wahlberg, who was mainly a vessel for product placement. The best part about this is that they bring him back in the next Transformers movie to play Merlin. Like Merlin the Wizard of Knights in the Round of whatever, medieval England lore, who in this movie got his magic staff from an ancient transformer, and also he was an alcoholic. I wish I was making that up. Stan Wizard Tucci. Anyway, Hunger Games. Actually, I want to take a brief intermission to shout out the Tucci bag from Big Mouth. This isn't really a role he played, but I just want to say they saw the opportunity and they took it, and I gotta commend them for that. Okay, for real, the Hunger Games. So in Captain America, he plays this doctor guy who works in the super soldier program. I will admit, I watched this movie like 3 times before realizing it was him. I'm pretty easily fooled, so the combination of him wearing a wig, but also the pure immersion of watching his performance completely disguised him until one day I was like, wait, is that Stanley Tucci? Nice. This was a relatively small role, but I want to point out that this is a prequel to the Avengers, and Tucci's character is the one who bestowed Captain America with superpowers, so basically, the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe canonically rests on Stanley Tucci's shoulders, and you should thank him for it. His character's death scene rivals Greek tragedy. Rip Tucci science, man. Gone but not forgotten. Okay. No more teasing. I've been alluding to it. It's time to finally address it. Ladies and gentlemen, your master of ceremonies, Caesar Flickerman! Let's go! Tucci annihilated this role. He ate, left no crumbs, and then killed all the surviving witnesses. This is peak Tucci. His presence is impeccable. When he's on screen, he's the main character. Katniss Everdeen, who? I absolutely love these types of roles where the actors go through a hardcore transformation to play them, and Tucci's transformation for the Hunger Games was a spectacular one indeed. He's serving insane looks. The wig, the makeup, the fake tan. In preparation for this role, Tucci wanted the character to look like an authentically fake individual, and he was highly involved in the process of trying on all the different prosthetics and designing Caesar Flickerman as he envisioned the character. He wanted to wear a fake nose on top of his nose for this movie. He didn't, but he wanted to. I will admit, I'm not the best with object permanence, but I could swear, when he's interviewing those tributes, it feels like I'm watching a real talk show. The way Tucci modulates the tone of his voice that he uses, the way he bounces off the other actor's energy and creates these unique little snippets with everyone, it's like he's playing 10 different characters at once. He's so charismatic that you forget he's actually a part of the corrupt fascist regime in this movie. You can't help it, you just get swayed by his enchanting laughter. For a movie about children being sent to their deaths, he did an incredible job convincing the audience how lighthearted and jovial the Capitol was about all this. He really painted the character's struggles as being nothing more than an entertaining plotline. So Stanley Tucci, I truly salute you for everything that you gave to the Hunger Games. So many different intricate moving pieces had to come together in order for the Hunger Games to become the amazing series that they were, and I think Stanley Tucci was at least 4 or 5 of them. I feel good. I feel good. I'm really glad I got this out of my system. It feels like a cathartic end to the 2-week Stanley Tucci bender that I've been on. And what I talked about today was only a tiny snippet of his works, just a small selection. So I implore you, get out there, find your favorite Tucci. I guarantee you, you won't regret it.